Hallo.
Hallo.
Welcome to Filmexplorer.
Filmexplorer.
Podcast.
Fabrica.
Hello and welcome from the Film Explorer's live podcast Fabrica at Bildrausch Film Festival in Basel. We are sending directly from the Cold Kino, which is a cinema in the middle of the festival, so that's why it can be a bit noisy sometimes. I am Jeannette Wolf. For today's talk, Film Explorer chose the film The Visitor from the Lithuanian filmmaker Vytautas Katkus. It is his first feature film. We invited the main actor, Darius Šilenas. Welcome.
Hello.
Darius, you graduated from the Lithuanian Academy of Music and Theatre in 2015 with an MA in film directing. You've worked as a freelance montage director and you are also part of the teaching team in this academy. So I give a brief summary of what happens in the film for the audience. Danielius is from Lithuania, but now lives in Norway, where he has put down roots. He returns to his old home to sell his parents' apartment. No big deal, but many small ones. Danielius visits places and meets people who bring back memories, awaken feelings, and evoke comforting nostalgia without the familiarity of the past ever truly returning. He remains a wandering visitor through his own past, but as he intends to stay a bit longer, something surprising happens. Sitting at the table with us is Noémie Baume, a film critic.
Hello.
And Giuseppe di Salvatore from Filmexplorer.
Hello. And I will start to ask you something. Darius, you are film editor, but actually in this film, you are not film editor, but you are the main protagonist, so the film actor. So how did it happen that Vytautas Katkus asked you, that is not an actor, to have such an important role in this film?
We are friends. We studied together. He was my director of photography for a while. Lithuanian film industry is quite small. You could say it's like just one small family. Everybody knows everyone. And, from previous Vytautas works that he did short films, he was mostly working with non-professional actors, which were his friends. And then the cherries were with himself with his dad. So I think he was looking at his circle of friends for some kind of maybe characteristic traits that he envisions in the film. And I know that even the sound designer of the film was tried for my role. And the camera assistant also. So how it happened, I just got an email from the casting director one day out of nowhere that you're invited for the casting of Vytautas Katkus film. I said, okay, why not? Send me the script. It was not something that I thought I'm not able to do. And but that was kind of like, I think it was a normal process. There was a casting, they were trying out how I'm looking with the other characters. It was a process. It didn't was just like, come here and do it. And then we did some kind of like a short teaser. So that was like a year before a shooting. They did a teaser and so some actors changed, I think, in that year, but then we came back and we did the movie together.
So do you think that probably you were chosen because, you are the person fit to the character, or just because being a non-professional actor, actually you can just in general embody this way of being a stranger in a familiar place?
Well, maybe both. To say that I have no experience is also not exactly true, because in Lithuania, when I was training to be a director, in our school, there was a big focus on acting. That was like our main subject, and our teachers were always saying to us, if you ask an actor to do something, you have to do it also, in a way. So for the 2 years, we had really intense acting classes, and we acted in each other's films, of course. So had some experience, had some idea what the actors do, And then also as an editor, I like to say that I work with actors every day. I make the performances happen, I fix them or enhance them and whatever. So, yeah. So I was not completely out of it. That I didn't know how the stuff is done. But then, yeah, I think he was looking maybe something similar to himself. Maybe we're like a little bit similar from our maybe this how we look and maybe our characteristics. I don't know. I'm guessing. But yeah, so I think that's how it happened.
How can we imagine concretely now the process of shooting, in the sense that did Vytautas give you a lot of instructions, or there was just speaking about the general situation, the general atmosphere, the feeling, and then you were free to improvise? How was the process in such an unusual way of collaborating?
So we had this regular script reading, where I asked questions. Why is he doing this? What happened then? If something wasn't clear, we had 2 months of rehearsals, mostly with other actors to check, how it goes. So, but when we came to the set, we thought, because this was his debut film, and I know how hard it is to be a director. So I tried to be this. I took a role of an actor that doesn't ask many questions, and only if something's wrong, he would come and try to explain to me. He would get into details that I thought, okay, I'm not that good actor to take into account everything what he's saying. But it was a bit of improvisation also, that we would start shooting and I said, okay, do we do a rehearsal? And you say, no, let's do a take and then a rehearsal. And then the first take and okay, we're done. Okay. So sometimes, we would just come to the place and say, okay, just look around and do whatever you want to do. Well, I don't want to do anything sometimes. So sometimes I just sit down and lay down and look around, walk around. So sometimes there was no direction, which was a bit, for me, it was stressful because I thought, okay, actors should do something, and I'm like this, just standing around, walking around, looking through the window, like nothing's really interesting happening in my head. But then later on, I kind of thought, he was really smart. That was his directing by not directing me, and I'm there like standing out of place all the time. Everyone is having a party. I'm kind of like on the side, thinking what to do, what should I do, and then it's like okay. I see what you did there.
I was asking how central was silence to the way to the director choose to show how lonely this character is. Were you comfortable about acting in silence?
Yeah, I spend all my days in silence. I'm not a very extrovert person, so I'm okay.
Now, more specifically, because there is something that struck me in this film is the framing, how the images are framed, and very often you are, as a protagonist, you are in a very little corner of the image. So, in a way, it was also like this. I mean, I was to work with the camera, because you are in the film industry. I mean, you know very well how to, as you told before, in this family of collaboration, you probably have to be able to do everything. So what does it mean now the camera is very far or close, etc. So was more specifically about the shooting, about the relationship with the camera, something specific that you had to follow, like a sort of style or an aesthetic, or it was just also there, so a bit by chance or improvisation? I don't know.
I was just stressed that we were shooting on a film, so I had this in my mind, some kind of like a meter going off, euros just rolling. Should I maybe act faster? Should I do something to make this, film worth it? but it passed. Maybe first few days that I was a bit, maybe rushing or being nervous. But regarding the framing, I was not looking at the monitor. I think there was not even there. Vytas was not looking at the monitor. I don't know. Costumes and makeup were looking. So I just gave up complete trust into him. I never challenged, anything. I just like, okay, you're the director, I'm the actor. Just say me, where do I stand? Where's the limits? Where should I be? So sometimes, I would maybe go out of the frame and then we would redo it, if I was completely out of frame. But he would just say me, okay, so in this room, I can see until this door and then at this door. So, try to, or there's a mirror here, so you can be in the mirror. But so it was pretty free, I would say. It was not, marks on the floor, and you walk some kind of like mise-en-scène, very, very strict. It was like roughly, you do something like this, and then I think the most takes that we ever did was maybe 5 or 6. And I think that was the scene with the dad where I'm saying that, would you be my dad?
And actually, this question leads to me about another question. It's the question of the space. So how important was for you to know very well this place, to inhabit in a way, or to be free there, to digest in a way this place. I don't know. In the last couple of months, I had the chance to follow a masterclass with Runa Runarsson, and for example, he has a very special technique with the actors doing spirals and going together as a sort of rehearsal in order to integrate the space and the space. And I think in this film, I have the impression, I don't know, I probably Vytautas didn't use this technique quite specific, but still I have the impression that the protagonists in a way integrate really the site specificity of this location.
Well, I think in Lithuania, everyone. So this town that we the film was shot in, called Šventoji, I think almost everyone had a summer there. It's not the most fancy resort. It's like this maybe lower class resort, I would say. I don't know. And I had some kind of like memory of that place when I was there, when I was a kid with my parents, going to the beach, going this one street back and forth, this some kind of like shopping restaurant street. So it was a bit of personal that I could see, this like nostalgia coming to me in this place, because I don't go there anymore for I don't know whatever reason. But and then there was also this flat which was very well done by the art department. It had pictures of my real family actually all around. You can't really see them in the film, but they were there. All the bookshelves are actually filled with books, and then I could read what my parents were really doing, what's their profession. I think one was like medical or something. All the dust were there, all this like a thick layer of dust, I could just walk, this art department people, they invited me just, you can come whatever, spend some time, look around, learn what everything is, all this, the kitchen, everything was done, like a real flat, like someone really lived there. So it really helped. Yeah.
And the fact it's an holiday place, it creates a sort of oasis, a sort of island, and for me it's very bound to one of the main themes of the film, the fact that this protagonist probably refuse a bit to become the father that he is, to assume responsibility in life. I mean, I have the impression that it's a sort of coming of age film in terms of not coming of age or not be able to come to change the age, of course, not in terms now of very often we say coming of age for teenager film, but in this case it's more about being really an adult. And so I don't know if for you also was already for this it was discussed as more general theme and in the rehearsal or in your discussion in preparation of the film.
There was like a topic of the father. That was maybe, I don't know, like in Vytautas films, there's always some kind of like a topic with the fathers. He even acted one with his dad. So yeah, I think this is, I didn't come for my dad's funeral because I had a baby. And then a year after, I'm coming back, looking for a dad, which is not there anymore. And yeah, just the character is just, I think that, he starts to see this loss, this emptiness, and maybe, he didn't had any, probably didn't had a very good, maybe really, I don't know, relation with the dad. But we didn't go that much in the backstory with Vytas. I don't know if that was important or not, but yeah, and then I don't know.
So probably grieving. It was more sort of theme that you.
Yeah, just like a side theme, I would say. I think mostly it's about this being alone, the solitude, and it's okay to be alone, with yourself, just to walk around. There's nothing, I don't know, depressive even about it. It's kind of like, it was funny when we were having a tour with this film around Lithuania, and then one person came to us and she said, I also live somewhere about, I don't remember where, and I just came back to see my friends after 10 years, and the only thing I wanted to do is just to come to their flat and watch TV with them. And that was like, yeah, that's the kind of things that works, I think, just simple ones. And it's not, negative, it's great. Just watch TV,
The film is shows a very simple scene. At the same time, also quite strange scene, at least for an audience that is probably not Lithuanian, I don't know. But the impression that all people trust the other. There is sort of harmony, and also a very good dose of humor, I would say. It's something that is Lithuanian, or something that really you wanted in this specific film to express?
The humor, I don't know. I didn't know this is going to be a funny film. For me, when first time I watched it in Karlovy Vary, and then people started laughing, I was so surprised. I was really like, the scene, especially with the dad, because it was somehow like very hard to do, and I thought it's so dramatic. Why so dramatic? Why so serious? And then that's where the people laughed the most, So yeah, I kind of like, we didn't talk that it was going to be funny, or, I mean, we didn't have it's not a drama also, it's, but it's like comedy, I think, in Lithuanian, I don't know, cinema. It's great. I don't know. It gives this lighter mood, it's, not everything has to be heavy. We have this maybe that all Lithuanian movies are like very dark or heavy, but this is kind of like different. This is light, but has some deep meanings, deep topics. Yeah.
Yeah, one of these deep topics, I think, is the main protagonist is in solitude, lives in this I don't know, it's not loneliness. I would say more solitude, but at the same time, during the story, actually the social bond, the social relationships is always jumping in the story. So I mean, even the very beginning with the dog, I mean, he wants probably just to be alone, but someone come and let the dog. And so
the idea of the dog was that the dog leads me somewhere, because I don't even know. Like, I come this all dressed in black with this like some kind of jacket, all like a shadow, And then I'm just staying there, and then the dog kind of like takes me out for a walk, on this these meadows, all these abandoned playgrounds, and then like during the film, I mean, the dog kind of like goes away, but. Like as a character, like with the costume, I get lighter, I get in a t-shirt, I get in the shorts, can some wear shoes, and then like I I'm being peeled off as an apple, as an onion during the course, like I'm coming one with the place. Yeah.
There is a nice balance, I think, in the film between exactly this solitude and the social dimension, the humor and existential element. At the same time, there is a progression in terms of surreality, I would say, or absurdity. So in the last part of the film, you really sometimes don't understand, is it now sort of dream scene or is it really reality, and etc. So there is some blurring the boundaries between the real and fiction. So also something that you discovered when you saw the film, or is it really was a main topic in your development?
I just saw it in the film and I was like, wow, okay, now I get it. There were lots of moments where like, so this is what you meant, this is how it's supposed to go. Because as I said, I didn't ask too many questions because being a director is really hard. And then, I put complete trust in him. You want me to swim to this abandoned island with the apple tree? Okay. I'm not going to ask why.
That's great. Let's speak about trust and let's speak about, I would say, a sort of family. We'll probably finish just to know a bit more in general about this, what someone say, a new Lithuanian cinema wave, I don't know. Because many of you know each other, work together, collaborate, etc. I don't know if you also share some main. I don't know. In terms of aesthetics, I think you also have different styles. But what is the bonding element, the element that make you collaborate together?
Well, yeah, we grew up together in the same film school in a way. Also, there's like a tendency of directors of photography turning directors, as Laurynas Bareiša. They were studying together with Vytautas, both directors of photography become directors. Laurynas Bareiša now also an editor of Vytas film, and I'm an actor in his film. Then Saulė Bliuvaitė, also an actor in the film. There's Maria Kaftaradze was also in the film. She was a screenwriter and she was in the party scene by the beach. So it's just that this, we also hang out outside of work. We go to some kind of events, I don't know, some parties, birthdays. So it's just, I guess, this, the success of one is the success of all. We are rooting for each other. There's no competition, I would say, because we're so small. There's like, what competition? We were just cheering for everyone whose film is gonna be seen inside and outside of Lithuania. So we're just like happy to help, and then working on film is cool. It's just why not? I can be a driver if you want. Just I like being around Vytas, and there is no such, this competition thing involved. I think that's what kind of like gives this unity for this generation. And yeah,
that's very interesting.
Same in Switzerland, because it's also a small country, and in the film schools they start working like this, and then later on they keep this practice, and they build communities to and share each other with the film.
Yeah, because we're not against each other, we are against the world, so let's do this together, let's make the best film we can, okay, you're going there, okay, I can help you, how can I help you,
Okay. Then I think we are coming to an end. Thank you very much for being our guest, Darius Šilenas, Noémie Baume, and Giuseppe di Salvatore. This was the Fabrica live podcast from Filmexplorer about the film and the work in The Visitor. And also many thanks to Olivier Legras, responsible for the technical part. So goodbye and thanks.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Filmexplorer
Filmexplorer.
podcast.
Fabrica.